Terry, I understand that the Royal Oak Women's Club just won a very prestigious award.
Yes, we are one of 43 clubs that are in the state of Michigan, and we were voted Women's Club of the Year for GFWC Michigan.
Welcome into the Rock Pod. I am John Gay from Jack and Detroit Podcasts.
I am Lisa Bibby, your realtor with Century 21 Northland.
We're really excited today. This has been a long time coming to talk about the Royal Oak Women's Club. Today we have Terry Poduska, who is president of the Royal Oak Women's Club. A lot to get to, but we're going to have some fun with you first, Terry. You have achieved one of the many items on my bucket list, and that you have been to all 50 states. I need to hear about this.
Yes, I started taking my kids traveling when they were young. Our original goal was not to hit all 50 states, but my daughter had a project and she was supposed to come up with how many states she had visited. And we discovered she only had 13 more to go.
Oh.
We decided, we've got to go squeeze those 13 in. Now, we are also geocachers. Everybody has their own criteria to go to visit the 50 states. We have geocaches in all 50 states.
So wait, which was the first state that you traveled to?
Oh, wait, if she had it 37, I think we should ask her the last state.
Yeah, well, and the last one.
So Michigan, of course, is the first state.
Well, I mean, the first one that you traveled to.
Ohio.
Okay.
Our last state was North Dakota.
So, Terry, we know the Royal Oak Women's Club does a lot with the Chamber, but you've also involved with the Chamber for quite some time. Can you talk to us a little bit about your experience with the Royal Oak Chamber?
Well, I originally worked for the Chamber back in the early 2000s. Actually, just about the time I was leaving when Shelley Kemp was starting.
Okay.
So we did get to work on a couple things, the garage sale and the Royal Oak and Bloom together. But I have always been a huge advocate for the Chamber just because the networking opportunities, the opportunities that you can get by knowing other people, we try, including the Royal Oak Women's Club, we try to utilize members. I've met some great people. I've had great resources, using them.
All right, so on to the Royal Oak Women's Club, the reason that we're here today. It's been around since 1902 as a community service organization. Terry, if you can give us a quick overview of the history of the organization.
Well, first of all, Royal Oak Women's Club is part of a larger organization called Federated Women's Club. There are 1,300 clubs throughout the United States, and I believe there's 19 countries.
Wow.
There's over 60,000 members, and their main goal is to advocate for children and women. So we do a lot with legislative. The office is in Washington, D.C., and they work with senators and representatives to push through bills and stuff. Now, one of the biggest things that they pushed through was the suffragette, the right for women to vote. In fact, our president of General Federated Women's Club back in the 1920s was the big push to get the vote through. The government kept saying no, 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 and she whispered in the ear of Woodrow Wilson, and he said, okay, I'll support you guys. So the organization is very influential throughout the United States. But our organization, Royal Oak Women's Club, has been around since 1902. We started out as a study club. And then in the 1910s, they started getting very involved with the community. They wanted to do more. So they started putting in the parks. They worked with the city in getting the fire escapes in the schools. They spent 2 years working with the United States Postal Service and getting house-to-house delivery.
Wow.
The clubhouse is very historic. It is the oldest continuous use building in Royal Oak.
Wow.
We do rent it out. That's how we subsidize, since it's a historical building.
What kind of rentals are you running out of there?
We have a lot of meetings, recitals, showers, weddings.
Anybody could call you guys up if they need a space to actually hold an event. Fantastic.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Terry, I understand that the Royal Oak Women's Club just won a very prestigious award.
Yes. We are one of 43 clubs that are in the state of Michigan. And we were voted Women's Club of the Year for GFWC Michigan.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
As we kind of run through the history of this, Terry, I know the organization was very involved in the World War II effort too, right?
Yes. I'm kind of the historian with the building. This is my favorite time. These women did everything. They pretty much operated out of that clubhouse pretty much 7 days a week. They set up American Red Cross section where they did sewing of bandages and stuff. We made like 800 sandwiches a week, helped the workers and stuff. We sold $68,000 in war bonds, which built a bomber. General Federated women's clubs were asked to pay for one warplane per state in the 40s. And
it's crazy. You never hear stories like this. Yeah, there was a lot of women behind the scenes doing things and supporting everything. This is fantastic.
Yeah, so it was called the City of Royal Oak, our bomber. So our club alone was able to buy one bomber. So they ended up with, it was hundreds, even though they had basically only asked for probably about 45 at that time. The women's clubs throughout the United States, I think it was almost 200 planes that they were able to buy per se. So.
You know, to Lisa's point about the stuff we don't hear about World War II, we're recording this on August 5th, so the Olympics are going on right now, and there's a lot of stuff they've shown about Normandy and France and everything. And on a personal note, because you're interested in World War II like I am, Terry, I just have to share this. My grandfather was a World War II veteran, and we were contacted a couple weeks ago by a gentleman in the Netherlands who was walking around with a metal detector and found my grandfather's dog tags. And he's returning them to our family. It's been this amazing journey through Ancestry.com and a long, long story that would be its whole other podcast. But I am fascinated by World War II, and I'm thrilled to just hear about all these stories that we don't, like Lisa said, hear about that often.
The woman just amazed me during that time.
Terry, it's been fascinating to hear all this history. And part of the reason we're having you on today is to promote the National Day of Service on Saturday, September 28th. Working with the General Federated Women's Club of Michigan, or GFWC, what can you tell us about the event and how our listeners can get involved?
Like I said, GFWC has over 1,300 clubs. They have asked all the clubs to put on a project for food insecurities. We have chosen Blessing in a Backpack, which is a local here in Royal Oak.
Great organization.
Yeah. Last year, they told me there was 900 kids that were eligible. Not all of them took advantage of it, but there were 900 kids in our school system that's eligible to participate in the Blessing in a Backpack. So we are running a food drive for Blessing in a Backpack on Saturday, September 28th. We'll run from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. They can go to our website. We will have a listing of the foods that can be donated and stuff like that.
That is fantastic. Again, September 28th, we're going to have links in our show notes for that. You talk about some of the other organizations you help with in the area?
Yes, we work with quite a few organizations. We've done the Care House in Pontiac. There's two major organizations that GFWC Michigan, one has actually started, was Girls Town. It is now Guiding Harbor. They assist with girls that are displaced from their families and stuff. They house, I think, about 20 girls in which they will feed them, educate them, keep them safe. We have another organization called Bay Clef, which is up in the UP. This is a 7-week camp in which kids who would not be able to normally go to other camps will be able to attend. They go out of their way to assist these kids to be able to go swimming or play soccer or whatever. They come up with alternative methods to help them have the closest summer camp experience as possible.
So, Terry, I know the Royal Oak Women's Club has a long history of working with the Chamber. I know a lot of our Chamber members are also active with the Women's Club. But for those listening who might want to get involved that haven't been involved, I know you've got 2 meetings coming up in the next few weeks. So if you want to mention those real quick as well.
Yes. Our first meeting is going to be Tuesday, September 10th, and it starts at 6 o'clock. And then Our next one after that will be October 1st, again, starting at 6 o'clock. They do take place at the Royal Oak Women's Club, 404 South Pleasant. It's at the corner of 4th and Pleasant.
Excellent. All right, now, Terry, it is time for our fishbowl question of the day. We're going to ask you a totally random question. So, Lisa, if you would like to pull today's fishbowl question.
Yeah, let me dig in here. All right. Terry, we got a good one for you. So you have been to so many real life places. What fictional place would you most like to go to?
Hogwarts.
Ah.
I'm a Harry Potter fan.
Have you been to the Harry Potter world at Universal in Orlando?
Yes.
Okay. That's about as close in the real world as you can get to it, but fictionally we'll say Hogwarts. I like it.
We even went to the British Museum, had a exhibit in New York City. And it was really cool because it was all about Harry Potter, but it took you through the classes.
Oh,
so
wow.
They would set up a herbology class, dark arts classes, and you'd go through and they would set the class up and it'd show you books and stuff like that. It was really cool exhibit.
Very cool. I think they should have a real Hogwarts school.
Yes.
I bet you they'd have a lot of attendance.
Moneymaker all over it. Terry, before we let you go, and thank you so much for coming on and sharing about the Royal Oak Women's Club, you mentioned the meetings. We're going to have, again, that information in the show notes. If our listeners want to get more involved with the Royal Oak Women's Club, I know you've got a Facebook page. We'll link in the show notes and a website. What's the website real quick?
It is ROWC.org.
And thanks so much for coming on and sharing with us today.
Thank you.
Thank you, Terry. It was fantastic to have you on our show. My name is Elisa Bibby. I'm a realtor with Century 21 Northland. I put the real back in realtor. We want you to love where you live. Questions about buying or selling your home? Call my cell at 248-981-3610. My website is soldbylisab.com. And you can find me on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram at Sold by Lisa B. Let's connect.
My name is John Gay from Jag in Detroit Podcast. I own a podcast production agency. If you like the way this show sounds, I can do the same thing for you and your business. You can find me online at jagindetroit.com or on social at jagindetroit. And I want to ask, too, if you enjoyed this podcast, the best way to grow a podcast is to share it. So please share this episode with somebody you know that will enjoy it so we can continue to grow the podcast. The Rock Pod is produced for the Royal Oak Chamber of Commerce in Royal Oak, Michigan. If you want to know more about the Royal Oak Chamber or chamber events, you can find us online at royaloakchamber.com. Thanks, everyone.